Hello! In this video, you will learn how to track your professional development activities through the Office of Human Resources. Let's start off by discussing the different types of activities that one might engage in. There are graduate courses, in-service activities, district-sponsored conferences, and non-credit CTLE activities. Graduate courses lead towards some sort of advanced degree, and thus provide official college credit. In-service activities, on the other hand, do not provide college credits. Because of this, if you leave the district, the hours will not transfer with you. These courses and activities are often less expensive than graduate courses and can sometimes be free. The best part is that they still count towards salary advancement. Here are some examples of activities that may be eligible for salary advancement. If you attend a free conference over the summer, for instance, this can count towards in-service hours. In the event that you attend a district-sponsored conference, regardless of when the conference takes place, this experience cannot count towards salary advancement. Last but not least are non-credit CTLE activities. CTLE is a New York State Education Department acronym for Continuing Teacher and Leader Education. If you're a teacher with professional certification or a Level 3 teaching assistant, then you'll use this to track any activity that doesn't fall into one of the three previous categories. NYSED requires that these certificate holders complete 100 hours of approved CTLE per registration period, typically that of 5 years. You'll track all of these activities, graduate and in-service courses, conferences, and non-credit CTLE hours within the Frontline Professional Growth System. In a bit, we'll show you how to use this system, but let's first answer a few questions related to salary advancement. As we've seen from some of the previous slides, not all professional development counts towards salary advancement. So what does count? Any approved graduate course or in-service activity that is self-funded or free and occurs outside of the normal workday. Remember that for the purposes of salary advancement, 15 in-service hours is equivalent to 1 graduate credit. Prior approval via Frontline Professional Growth is required for an activity to count towards salary advancement. In the event of a last-minute request, please be sure to alert your building principal via email as soon as possible. In the interest of the teacher and the school district, permission will not be granted to any teacher to pursue more than 6 hours credit during each semester of the school year. An approval from an administrator in Frontline cannot supersede a contractual clause. We will try to keep track of this information, but it is best if you also keep track of the number of credits that you're enrolled in at any given time. In order to receive a lane change on the salary schedule, you must submit an online application via Frontline Professional Growth by September 15th. Additionally, all transcripts and certificates indicating course completion or conference attendance must be submitted to the Office of Human Resources by October 15th. The hours and credits listed on these documents will be used to confirm your eligibility for salary advancement. Due to the importance of these documents, we recommend that you secure a copy of it after every activity, and that you keep these documents in a safe yet memorable location. Let's put our newfound knowledge to the test in a quick game, shall we? I'll present a situation, and you should determine which activity type it would be considered. First, I'm a physical education teacher pursuing my master's degree in school administration. Which form do I use? I would use the graduate course form. Keep in mind, though, that I have to fill out a new form every course that I take throughout this program. Now I'm the high school ELA department chair, and I'll be attending monthly meetings of the Conference of Westchester ELA Coordinators. Even though it's a free conference, it takes place during the school day. Which form do I use? Because the event takes place during the school day, it becomes ineligible for in-service credit. That said, I'll use the non-credit CTLE form in order to track these meetings for state registration purposes, and to alert my building administration and the Office of Human Resources that I'll be out of the building on these days. Now I'm an elementary art teacher who will be attending a virtual conference on equity in art education. I'm paying the $35 registration fee for this Saturday event. This is a great example of an activity that is eligible for in-service hours, so I should use the in-service activity form. And finally, I'm a middle school math teacher attending the National Math Teacher Conference this summer. The $300 registration fee has been paid for by the district's Professional Enrichment Fund. Which form do I use? Even though this conference takes place during the summer, the school district is paying the cost of attendance, so I can't receive in-service credit for this event. So I would use the district-sponsored conference form. Now let's take a look at some demonstrations on how to fill out a form via the Frontline Professional Growth System. Once you've logged on to My Learning Plan, on the left-hand panel, you'll click Forms. You'll notice the 4 forms that associate with the 4 different types of activities that we've talked about earlier in the presentation. We're not going to go over the graduate course form because that's pretty self-explanatory. The in-service activity and the non-credit CTLE activity forms are very similar in nature, so I'm just going to be spending some time going over the in-service activity form. I'm also going to be taking some time to go over the district-sponsored conference form. Let's start off again by going over the in-service activity course form. So you'll see it's a pretty self-explanatory form. You'll need to fill in some basic information. For instance, I'm going to be attending a workshop soon. It's the March webinar on physical computing. I attach a description from the website and include a link to the website for the description. I have to indicate the first day of the event, and in the event that this webinar or maybe this conference were happening over the course of a few months, I would indicate the last day. Now, you don't have to go very overboard with filling out too much information related to this, but you would go ahead and specify to the best of your ability the days in which or the dates in which this course or activity is meeting, as well as the times. So this particular course is going to be meeting on just March 16th at 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. This workshop is actually being hosted by the National Center for Computer Science Education, and so it's not listed as one of the providers. And because it's happening from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., I will accrue 1 hour of in-service credit. I'll then list all the district goals that I will be achieving as a result of attending this meeting, as well as all the state standard goals. Last but not least, I'll say the purpose for attending this workshop. It's for 2 purposes. 1, I'm going to be achieving some CTLE hours for professional certification, and I'll be getting in-service credit. You are allowed to double dip in this case because the CTLE hours is a totally separate state certification program, whereas our in-service credits, that's a district-sponsored initiative. Once I'm done, I can submit the form, and it gets sent off to the appropriate approvers. Let's quickly go over the district-sponsored conference form. I've already completed most of this information, including the activity details and everything else. We're going to skip dates, times, and locations for a moment and scroll down to the provider. The provider was not included in the pre-filled list, so I included it below, the Computer Science Teachers Association. I've included the fact that the district is covering the registration fee of $149, but if the district were covering the lodging, the meals, the transportation, or the tolls, I would also indicate those values. But since this is a virtual conference, they're just including the registration fee. I'd select the payment type, list the goals and objectives, and select the purposes. You'll notice that there is no option for in-service hours. That is because the district is sponsoring this particular activity. So going back up, the dates, times, and locations, I have the ability to use this dropdown to indicate the number of meetings that this conference will take place on. June 11, 2021 is a Friday, and so as a result, I've indicated that I will need a sub for the afternoon on that Friday. This information will automatically generate an absence request via ASAP. On the second meeting though, on Saturday, June 12th, 2021, I don't need a sub. And as a result, I select the outside of workday option. This particular meeting date is not going to be sent off to the ASAP system and will not be deducted from your bank. Once you're done, you click Submit. And that's that. If you have any questions, submit a request ticket at humanresources.mamkschools.org. Thanks for watching.